Hello, everyone. My name is Seema Chokshi, and I will be talking to you about the build versus buy dilemma that is faced by organizations who are looking to use AI for solving their business problems. And before I go into the talk, I just want to talk a little bit about my experience in the field of data science. So I have been associated with the field for about 16 years now. And the first 9 years was spent with American Express in different locations and in different roles. And the last 7 years, I have been associated with the academic ecosystem in Singapore as a faculty in SMU and as a director of an analytics program. And one thing I can tell you for sure that definitely the data science landscape has evolved quite a bit in the last 16 years. I have personally witnessed that. One thing is for sure that definitely the titles and the terminology has changed quite a bit as well. So the data scientists of today were basically referred to as business analysts in that time. And I want to talk about a particular experience as a part of the American Express data science team. We built this data capability, which could be used as a plug-and-play solution by the banks for making credit risk-related decisions. And at that time, back in the day, it was really one of its kind of solutions out there. But fast forward a decade from then to where we are today, and if an organization wants to use AI or machine learning, there are definitely a lot of options out there in the market, which basically makes it a difficult choice. And if you think about building your own AI, then even from that perspective, building a completely new AI infrastructure and coming up with AI algorithms is a massive undertaking. So it surely requires careful planning and thought process to go into it. So this is the reason why I want to be talking about this particular topic today. So I'm going to talk about a few considerations that that should be kept in mind when making a choice between build versus buy. And one of the key questions which an organization should address at the very beginning is basically the type of business problem that that you want to solve with the help of AI. And related to that, the question would be that, is it a key strategic decision or a key strategic problem that's related to the core of your business versus if it's something related to, let's say, saving the cost related to administrative aspects of your business. So that is basically a key consideration in the beginning of making your choice. After that, there are a couple of other things that that an organization should think about. First one is data. So from the data perspective, for example, let's say you want to build a deep learning model for image recognition, then surely you would need to have the right data available, which would be a set of labeled images. And if you don't have that ready, then maybe you need to think about getting hold of such a data set. The other consideration is related to the time aspect of the criticality of when do you want this solution to be ready and how much time do you have in hand. From then on, other criteria is related to looking at the talent that you have in-house. So what is the machine learning and data science related expertise that you have in-house in your organization at any given point in time? And of course, another important criteria is related to the cost or the type of investment that you want to do into, into building this AI-driven solution. So these are some of the things, which need to be considered when making a buy or a build decision. And I want to talk about each of these and give you some examples of situations where it might make sense to go with a buy decision rather than a build decision. So situations where you are trying to come up with a generic solution and possibly solutions which already exist in the marketplace, then it surely makes sense to save your time and resources by going and purchasing off-the-shelf AI from the marketplace. But then certain other things need to be kept in mind in the in this kind of a situation, which is essentially that whenever you make a buy decision, there will be multiple service providers in the marketplace, and there could be a certain level of dependency that you will have on those service providers, which basically means that it would require you to evaluate the offerings and maybe even test them out thoroughly before you make a buying decision. Okay, so these are some things which need to be kept in mind, but definitely in this situation, buying will help you save your investment and your effort spent into the decision. Then if you think about situations where it would make sense to build your own AI, would be related to a particular point in time where you want to build a very specialized AI solution, which might not even be developed by anyone in the marketplace. And a very good example of that comes from Netflix. So as you know, Netflix is in the business of making recommendations of movies to its viewers. And a while back, when Netflix kind of decided to build its own recommender system, definitely Netflix put a lot of effort and investment into that. But it also provided Netflix with that, differentiating competitive advantage. So that is a type of a situation where it would make sense to build your own, even though it would require, in-house talent and expertise, a lot of investment in resources and time. But that's the way to go. And then, there is this in between kind of a situation where you don't really need to start from scratch, but you can kind of work with the existing toolkits out in the market and customize them for your own usage and benefit. So, for example, these days we have a lot of these automated machine learning, referred to as auto ML tools that are available in the market. And the way these auto ML tools work is basically they automate certain parts of the machine learning pipeline. So if they are used, in the right manner, they can definitely help to empower your data scientists, and it can reduce the time that you would take to kind of build, your machine learning algorithms from the scratch. So that's an example where, you could kind of go with a midway type of a solution and just spend your time in customizing what is already available in the market. And to kind of conclude, basically, if you kind of just put it together, essentially, a few things need to be kept in mind. So one is that it's very important to manage the type of expectation you have from the AI that you're building. And there have been a lot of situations where organizations really, had they had over expected from what might come out from this kind of a breakthrough AI implementation. And in those cases, those projects were not always an immediate success. So basically, the way to go here would be that kind of break down your bigger problem into small parts, and then keep going small, make those small successes, and then kind of put it all together to come up with something big. The other thing to keep in mind is that there's a lot of talk about AI, and every other day there is like a new discussion happening, or a new aspect of AI that is being hyped. So it's easy to kind of get carried away by that. But a suggested thing would be that keep your higher level priorities in mind, keep the business objectives in mind. And when you're thinking of getting the talent, keep that aligned with the overall goal of the business and not get swayed away by the changing trends in the market, because that would kind of derail your deliverables and the time it takes to get there. And lastly, as we know these days, there's a lot of new research which is being done in the areas of AI, coming out from the industry and from the academicians at the same time. There are a lot of new AI specialist solutions that are coming out as well. So it definitely would benefit the organization to keep abreast with these changes, so you actually don't miss out on what the market has to offer. So essentially, keeping all of those things in mind, will ensure success in whatever decision you take, whether it's build or it's buy. So that's all I have, and thank you.